here come this fool. Here come the fool, y'all.
And at this time, people would call Shannon Harris.
Yeah, I'm pissed off too. Everybody shop at the same beauty supply here. Shannon look like she done lost weight. Everybody shopping at the same beauty supply.
Raise your right hand.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Watch your step, please. Have a seat.
You want to speak into this mic, you can also pick it up over your lap.
Whenever you're ready, Ms. Ripley.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning. Could you please state your name for the record?
Shannon Harris,
And Ms. Harris, how old are you?
31.
And back on January, or in January 2024, where did you live?
With my mom, resides with my mother,
With your mother? Okay, who's your mom?
Annette Harris,
And without telling me the exact address, what street did you live on?
Bedford.
And do you have any children?
Yes,
How many kids do you have?
5.
And do all your kids have the same dad?
Yes,
Who's their dad?
Jarvis Butts.
And do you see Jarvis Butts in the courtroom today?
Yes,
And can you point to him and tell me the color of the clothing that he's wearing?
green, well, whatever. Green.
Green. Your Honor, would the record reflect the witnesses identified the defendant in this case?
So reflected.
Thank you, Judge. And you said your mom's name is Annette. Do you have any sisters?
Yes, 2.
What are their names?
Kenyatta Harris and Marquita Harris.
Are they older, younger, something else?
Oh, there. Marquita is a twin. She's my twin, same age.
And Kenyatta's older?
Yes,
Do you have any nieces or nephews?
yes,
Do you know someone named Neziah Harris?
yes.
What's your relationship to her?
My relationship to her, she is my niece. I'm her aunt.
Okay. And whose daughter is she?
My older sister is Kenyatta Harris.
I think
And
so,
did you have
Juice.
any nicknames for Neziah?
Yes, we all called her Tuda.
And is that Tudda?
Yes,
And did Neziah ever know Jarvis through you?
yes.
And when did Neziah and Jarvis first meet?
When she was little, like age 2.
And can you kind of describe the relationship between Neziah and Jarvis?
Should be just the uncle and the niece relationship, no more than that.
How often would Jarvis be around, like at your house with you?
He will call or say, can he come see the kids? Or the kids will ask, can he see their dad? And he will come pull up either to my house where I used to live or at my mother's house.
Would Neziah ever be around?
The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, because now here she goes wanting to paint him as this amazing father. Would he ever come to the house? He would either call to ask could he see the kids, or the kids would ask to see their dad. Girl, if you don't get your ass off that stand line.
All the kids would be around.
To your knowledge, would Neziah ever text Jarvis?
From my knowledge, no, unless I will have her to text.
But to your knowledge, you didn't.
Baby, that little girl was 11 or 12. Why? Now, Shannon has she has a daughter that's around the same age as Neziah. Why would that baby even have his phone number? He is a freaking pedophile. Why would the baby have his phone number? Why would you put a child in his reach? Why would she be texting him? He's a pedophile. Hey, princess, baby, this girl. And I don't know.
Didn't know of any kind of separate outside relationship.
No.
Would there ever be times where where did you know Jarvis Butts to work?
Pardon?
Where did you know Jarvis Butts to work?
Where did I know him to work at?
Yes.
He worked at 2 different locations. The first location would be on East Warren, and the other location would be on Grashford and Connor.
And what were those locations?
Those are the auto repair shop.
Would you ever know desire to help Jarvis Butts at his shop?
Yes, he will call me and say, hey, if I can get our daughter and Messiah come and work up at the shop.
So listen, let me say this, because I don't know, is India still in here? I know India was saying that the boys would go too. Baby, she's right here testifying. Maybe it's sometimes they go. Bart, come on. Maybe sometimes the boys would go. She testified that he would call and specifically ask for his daughter and Naziah. Again, y'all. Again, he is a freaking pedophile. Why would you let now what you do with your daughter and that's her daddy? But why would you send your niece? Now we know he didn't give a damn, but why would you send some girls to be along with a pedophile? The boys are babies, okay. Why would you send the girl? Oh God.
And I would say, let me ask my mom first regarding Messiah.
Now I'm gonna say this again. Y'all want me to believe Shannon next to her mama? Or is Shannon trying to make sure that her mama don't get out of this? Shannon said, I would say, let me ask my mom first. Shannon, come on, Zakiya, you better clock it. Shannon is saying, no, I'm okay. Thank you. Shannon would say, let me ask my mom first. Shannon, you want me to believe you did that? I don't believe you did that, Shannon. I don't believe you did that, Shannon. I don't think you did that. Come on now. Come on, ma'am. You didn't do that.
And which daughter of yours would that be?
That would be my oldest, Janiyah.
Okay. Would you ever know Messiah to go to Jarvis's shop alone?
No.
Mm-hmm. Hey, ask the mama this.
Whose birthday is on or around September 26th?
That's my my 4th oldest birthday.
Do you recall a birthday party on September 26th of 2022?
Yes.
Okay. And was Jarvis there?
No.
Okay. And that would have been his son's birthday party?
Yes.
Were there ever times that you would text Jarvis off of a text now number?
The only time I would text Jarvis off a text now number is if my phone is off. Other than that, no.
And do you recall the numbers that you would text Jarvis from?
Yes.
Okay. And does a 586-510-5161 sound familiar?
Yes.
And what number is that?
That used to be my old number.
And is that number that you would text Jarvis from?
Yes.
And what about a 586-842-4504?
That was the number before this number.
Before the 510 number?
Correct.
Okay. And is that a number you would also text Jarvis from?
Correct.
And what number did you have for Jarvis Butts?
The 313 585-8719.
And did you have any numbers for Neziah?
It was a funny looking area code. The area code was a 231.
I want to show you some messages from People's Exhibit 16
Ooh, not some messages.
and ask you some questions about them, okay?
Okay.
Brandon, may I approach?
Yes.
I'm going to direct you to messages on or about June 27th of 2023. Do you recall those messages? Did you send any of those messages to Jarvis Butts?
No.
Okay. And do you know, I believe there's a phone number here that's highlighted. Whose phone number do you know that to be?
Jarvis Butts.
Okay. And you don't recall ever sending any of those messages?
No.
Okay. And now I want to direct you to messages from June 28th of 2023. How about any of these? Did you send any of these to Jarvis Butts?
No.
What about any messages from July 2nd of 2023? Did you send any of those messages?
No.
She needs to go to jail.
What about messages from August 26th of 2023? Did you send any of those to Jarvis Butts?
Sorry, we still have receipts.
August 26th.
They got to be some of her messages
No.
because they're
These
asking
aren't
her,
my
is she aware of them?
Did Jarvis Butts ever tell you that Neziah texted him to meet up on January 9th of 2024?
No.
Did you tell Jarvis Butts about not being able to locate Neziah on January 9th, 2024?
Yes.
And what he say?
And tell me, how did you tell him that?
I called him. He didn't answer. I sent him a message asking him, have he seen Tuda any whereabouts? And I said no Tuda, and he responded back. Oh
I
wow.
didn't hear what you said. The last part.
Last part I had I texted him. Well, at first I called him. He didn't answer. The second time I sent him a message, still no Tuda. He replied back, oh wow.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And
Oh wow, it's crazy.
And for record references, I'm showing her what's going to be proposed, People's Exhibit 48. Ms. Harris, those text messages that you just referenced, do you see those on this page?
Yes.
Okay. And so it's fair to say you stated to Mr. Butts, well, first of all, whose phone number is this at the top?
The phone number is my old telephone number.
Okay. And who is the phone number below that?
Jarvis Butts.
Okay. And is this, I guess, do these fairly inaccurately represent these two messages? 3, 4, 6 messages sent between you and Mr. Butts on January 9th, 2024 through January 11th, 2024.
Well, Kendra, they weren't in her life, so
The
she couldn't
first
reach out
page
to the real
is,
parents.
yes, is correct. Second page is correct. Yes.
Okay. And so on January 9th, like you had indicated before, you had stated that you told him that there was still no Tutta.
Correct.
Okay. And you said he responded, "Oh, wow."
Correct.
Okay. And on January 11th, was Messiah still missing?
Yes.
Okay. And did you ask Mr. Butts to do something?
At this point, I just asked that if she's going to read from the text message, just omit the exhibit.
I
You have an
can.
issue with moving to admit?
No, Judge.
Okay.
Do these fairly inaccurately represent text messages between you and your phone to Jarvis and his phone between, well, they start back earlier, some from December 3rd, 2023 through January 21st of 2024? These fairly inaccurately represent text messages between
Yes.
you and your phone to Mr. Butts and his phone?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I move for the admission of People's Proposed Exhibit 48. Objection.
Okay, they'll be admitted.
Thank you, Judge. So on January 11th, did you ask Mr. Butts to do something?
Yes.
And what is it that you asked him to do?
I asked him, can he share the missing flyer on his Facebook page?
Okay. And did you send him a copy of that missing flyer?
Yes.
Okay. And to backtrack just a little bit, on December 3rd, 2023, do you recall sending messages asking Mr. Butts if he needed Nizaya for anything?
Yes, I do remember.
Okay. So do you remember this text on the first page of People's Exhibit 48?
Yes, I do remember this message.
Okay. And did you send that message?
Yes.
Okay. And what did the message say?
Tutta said, do you still need her too?
Okay. And do you know what is that referring to?
It was, Tutta had asked me to contact Jarvis and see if he still needed them to clean up.
Okay. And that would be to clean up his shop?
Yes.
Okay. And to fast forward, on January 21st of 2024, you sent some messages to Mr. Butts. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. And can you read these last 3 messages?
These last 3 messages is, to be honest, these messages I seen into the inbox to you, I really don't know what to believe anymore. Stay away, Ramon, I mean it. The next message is, I don't know what to say, or Tutta is on. Since this shit doesn't sit right with me, call it what you want. I'm good, period. It says, this for life. Nigga, I thought about it, and you can pass it.
And,
What messages did she find in this baby's inbox? What messages did she find in this inbox that will lead her to send him a message that says these messages between you and her don't sit right with me? What messages, sis? Because you just said it was a typical uncle and niece relationship. What messages did you see in this inbox that caused you to say, wait a minute, I'm not rocking with what I'm seeing? Or you knew it was inappropriate. You didn't go report his ass to the police. You still let that baby go to his shop, clean up. You still let him come around kids when he clearly was texting this little girl some inappropriate shit. This she knew.
And don't call me, no need to explain shit. I already see it.
Okay, so you were referencing some messages that
What
you
you
saw
see?
in Tada's inbox.
Correct.
Tell me, how did you see some messages? Well, first of all, where these messages, where were they at?
The day of Officer Gardner came to pick up Nazia's tablet. My mom asked me to put it on the charger. I put it on the charger. Officer Gardner, after that, Officer Gardner called and said she's on her way.
Hearsay.
Without saying what.
Okay, I'm sorry. The officer had called and said that they was on their way to come
Still
pick up
hearsay.
the tablet.
Okay,
Okay, so,
sustain as far as hearsay.
yes, thank you, Judge. Okay, continue.
So the tablet, before the tablet was picked up, I looked inside to this tablet. She has 2 passwords that I normally know. So one of them is referenced for her brother's birthday, and the other one is referenced from my password. So I put the first password in, it didn't work. So I put the second password
What's your
in.
password?
So the first thing I went to was Instagram, which I was scrolling. And I seen Jarvis Butt's Instagram page. I clicked on his page and I seen 2 messages.
Okay, and what were the messages that you saw? Who were they between, first of all?
Nazia, my niece, and Jarvis.
Okay, and what were the messages that you seen?
It was roughly 2 messages that I have seen that I can recall. States.
I'm gonna object to this as hearsay. They have not been.
I'm gonna say this. Y'all want me to believe this lady who already probably suspected he was messing with her niece. This lady gets in her phone, get in this baby messages, and she see her baby daddy who she has 5 kids with, and she only read some of the messages. I only read. So you saw 2 messages and you closed the tablet, girl. You saw 2 messages and you just closed the tablet. You didn't read all of.
Admitted, and the messages themselves would be the evidence.
Were they of any,
Come on, Caitlin.
were the messages of a sexual nature?
No.
Okay, and you said you saw 2 messages.
Yes.
Okay, did you see anything else?
It was two sent pictures, but you can't really make anything out. It wasn't nothing there, but it was a picture was sent.
Okay. What did seeing those messages, what did they cause you to do?
Well, when I see no messages, I called him
Who's
and
it?
Jarvis Butts.
Okay.
Called him while he was at work, asked him, what is these messages I seen between you and my niece? And he said, what messages? Said it's 2 particular messages that states out and it's a picture. And he stated that, I don't know, these messages, I told him what the messages were. And he said it was probably our children was messaging him. And I stated no, because I know how our children will text.
Man, you mean to tell me this sorry ass man blamed, which probably some freaky ass text messages on his kids? The messages came from his kids, is what y'all telling me?
And reading those messages, is that what caused you to text
Mr. Butts, yes.
Mr. Butts, in that you've seen the messages in the inbox and you don't really know what to believe anymore?
Correct.
One second.
And with them saying she doesn't know what to believe anymore, that leads me to believe that they've had this conversation before. She's asked him about that little girl before. She's asked that little girl about him before. Now she's seeing these messages. She like, damn, I don't know what to believe anymore because I thought this at first, but you talked me off the ledge and I believed you. Now it's in my face. It's not just me thinking. It's not just me feeling it or sensing it. It's in my face. I don't know what to believe anymore. This isn't a case of, oh, I read these messages. No, they've had this conversation before.
So, Shannon, I want to take you back to January 9th. Were you home that day?
Yes,
Okay. And did you see Neziah that day?
my senior did, that morning, correct.
And do you remember what she was wearing at all?
Her coat and her uniform at the time, she had on some blue jeans. I don't really recall the outfit. I just know the coat she had on.
And what was the coat that she had on?
She had on, it was a 90s coat with all the characters on it.
Okay. And you recall seeing her wearing that the morning of January 9th?
Correct.
And Your Honor, may I approach people's already exhibit 2?
Yes.
I'm going to show you people's exhibit 2. Can you tell me, do you recognize a coat in this photo?
Yes,
And whose coat do you recognize that to be?
Neziah's.
Okay. Now, after you were when you saw Neziah that morning, what did you do the rest of the morning?
Nothing, I was at home with my mom and my 2 children.
And do you ever leave the house at any point that day?
No, I was at the house the whole entire day.
And do you know what time Neziah would normally get home from school?
On certain days, she will stay for after school, and then on certain days she will come home. The days she will stay for after school is 6, and the days that she don't is at 3 o'clock.
Okay. And on January 9th, do you know if Neziah had the after school program?
Yes. At that time, my mom took her out of the after school program, so she will come home directly at 3 o'clock.
Okay. And were you home at 3 o'clock?
Yes.
And did you see Neziah come home?
No.
Okay.
Chad, y'all right. I don't know at this point which last outfit the baby had on because I'm just like y'all. I've heard like 3 different outfits. So all of you guys in the chat are correct. I don't know where the pink jumpsuit came from. Did she change clothes somewhere? They did go to a hotel. Maybe she changed there. I don't know. All I remember is the white uniform shirt and the black jacket. That's documented evidence of what the baby had on. With her bottoms, I don't know.
And did you see her come home at all the rest of the night?
No.
Did you leave at any point after 3 o'clock?
No.
Did you, yes, when Neziah didn't come home, did that cause you to experience or feel any type of way?
It did. When she didn't come home is.
I'm gonna say this because I just saw a comment that said she knew she was meeting him being grown. I hate, and I know you don't mean any offense by it, but I hate when people use this whole being grown term because she was literally a child. She was groomed to do the things that she was doing. You know, this kid, like this man had been messing with her for 2 years since she was 11 years old. So please believe everything you see this girl do, those text messages. Do not be fooled. Don't use the words being grown because she was quite honestly doing what she'd been taught by him to do. Please him. Talk to him that way. An ordinary 11-year-old girl doesn't talk like what this girl was talking about. But because this man had groomed her for years, her mama wasn't there. Her daddy wasn't there. This is what she thought love was. This is what she thought love was, and it's his fault. She wasn't being grown, baby. She was doing what that man told her to do.
When my mom went to go pick up the other two children from the after school program, they knocked on the door and they had asked a question and said,
Objection, sounds like hearsay.
What's that?
But Shannon crazy.
A question isn't hearsay technically.
I think she said.
She asked a question.
I'm
Yes.
just getting ready to say a question. Okay,
What
finish
was
what
the
you're
question?
saying.
What was the question?
Well, Marcy, no adult was correcting her behavior because it doesn't seem like they gave a damn about her. So there wasn't anybody really checking her phone. Because if they had been checking her phone, they probably would have seen these messages well beforehand. But based on Shannon's attitude, we can't dismiss the fact that they did see that this was happening and absolutely, like you said, did not check her behavior. They did not care. She didn't have one adult in her life and in that house that gave a damn about her. Not even fucking Jarvis. Because that's not love. And if he were to say some weird shit like that baby thought he was the only one in her life that loved her. That baby thought he loved her and he was sick.
The two children had asked me, Mom said, did
That's the hearsay.
Naziah come home?
The hearsay is mom said.
Okay, so were you asked directly whether Naziah came home?
So my mom was still in the car. I was inside the house. They was coming to the house, walking up to the door. When I opened the door, they asked me, Mom said, did Naziah come home? I said, no.
And was Naziah home? Okay. And did you do any sort of looking for Naziah that night?
Yes.
What did you do?
I called my twin sister. I called some of her friends that I know that stays close by. If they had seen Naziah, heard from Naziah and everything. And when I reached out to my sister, she said no. Her friend said no. So after that, I asked my mom, did she want me to call the police? She said no, she will take it up in the morning.
I guess they didn't discuss that. Because now Shannon say, I would have called the police, but my mom said no. Oh, they couldn't have discussed this, y'all. They couldn't have discussed this one. They didn't discuss that. Grandma probably pissed at Shannon. What the cameraman noticed about her hands, y'all? Because while he's zooming in on her hands, he noticed something about those hands, her legs shaking or something. Let me move this. He a little messy kid.
Shannon, did you know Naziah to have a pair of red and black Nike shoes?
Yes.
Okay. And if
This is
I showed you a picture of them, would you be able to identify them?
Yes.
It said Maurice is at you.
Erna, may I approach?
Yes.
And for the record, this is going to be from People's Proposed Exhibit 14, and it'll be picture 34. Do you recognize these shoes?
Yes, that's a pair of shoes that my mom bought for to the birthday.
Okay, thank you. Now, back on the 9th, you said your mom was going to file a police report in the morning.
Correct.
Okay, did you go with her to file a police report in the morning?
No.
No, it was my older sister.
Oh, her
Did you do
mama
anything
went?
on the 10th as it relates to trying to
Yeah, so at some point they did call her mother because she said she didn't deal with her daughter. She didn't deal with her daughter, but for this, she called the mama. What?
Find Desire.
Yes. We went out. I and some others went out to go get some pictures, made copies. We went to other stores, passed out flyers, and everything that we need to do.
No, she just said they asked, "Did you go to the school with your mom?" She said, "No, my oldest sister went." Nazia's mom is the older sister.
Now, what was asked of us to do?
And since January 9th, 2024, have you seen Nizaya?
No.
Have you, since January 9th, 2024, have you heard from Nizaya?
No.
Nothing further at this time, Judge.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Harris, I also have some questions for you. You and Mr. Butts have been, or you've known him for about 12 years?
Correct.
And fair to say that you were in a dating relationship with him for most of that time?
Correct.
But towards the end, like last year, it was more off and on, fair to say,
No, it was on and off for years.
for years, okay. But you have 5 children with him?
Correct.
And this relationship that you had with him, even towards the end when it was on, it was a sexual relationship, right?
Correct.
Sometimes you go to a motel to have sex with him,
What?
Correct. Yes.
and that motel was the Park Reston.
Or the SharePoint.
There's more than one,
Multiples, yes.
but one of them was the Park Rest. Said yes.
Correct.
The
And it
hell?
was in Harper Woods
Correct.
on Harper.
Correct.
Do you know if Mr. Butts, or do you suspect that Mr. Butts has taken other women to those motels also?
Correct.
You do.
Mm,
I believe you said that you have, of your 5 children with him, 2 are girls
yes.
and 3 are boys.
Correct.
And in January of this time, well, January 2023, you were living with your mother on Bedford, correct?
Correct.
Prior to that, were you living in Clinton Township?
Correct.
When did you leave the Clinton Township home and move to the Bedford home?
October 23.
And so there were times when you were in Clinton Township that Mr. Butts would travel out there to see the kids.
Correct.
And then when you moved to the Bedford address, he would go to the Bedford address to see the kids.
Correct.
And then the Bedford address is when Nizaya was also living there, correct?
Correct.
And I believe you just testified that on January the 9th, you were living at that house in
Correct.
Bedford, and you were there during the day.
Correct.
And so were you one of the first people that realized that Nizaya did not come home when she was expected to be home?
Well, we didn't realize.
I want to say this. I just saw a comment that said they're asking about this motel to establish that he went to this motel frequently. Well, that wouldn't be good for the defense, right? Because you want him far away from these locations that his phone was pinging at. I felt like they're really just trying to establish that when they did things of that nature, it would be outside of the house. Hey, we would go away from the house a lot, because establishing that he is always at the place that his phone pinged in would not help him, because they're building a timeline based off of his phone records. But if we can establish that me and this young lady, we had this relationship for so long and we would frequent this location, it's kind of, they're also trying to say, well, hey, he could have been there, but this is a place he takes women to. I just don't see with the defense how it would help to say he's always there, because it was in his list of things, right? But it could help if his defense is, I was there with another woman. Y'all get what I'm saying? Like, that's a place he took women to. not a little girl, but he would take women there or take Shannon there. We go outside of the house and do things. It could be both ways. Sorry, y'all. I'm thinking as I'm talking.
But I didn't realize it until I had got a question. By the other kids had asked, did I have Naziah came home yet, or have I seen her? And I said no.
Do you remember what time that was in the afternoon?
That was in the evening. My mom picked them up 6 o'clock.
So that was about 3 hours later than she normally should have been home.
Correct.
Was that surprising?
Yes, it was. One, we thought that she was at the after school program, but it didn't dawn on no one until my mom came back to the house and she wasn't here, or she wasn't in the car when they had got in the car.
And so when you all realized that she wasn't at school and she wasn't at home, was that surprising?
Yes.
But you didn't go to the police that night.
No.
She ever not returned home previously?
No, this is her first time ever doing this.
Did she have friends in the neighborhood that she would go visit?
Yes.
And you said, are those the folks that you contacted to ask?
Yes.
Do y'all see that she's talking about her?
We're just showing a pair of red and black Nike shoes, right?
Correct.
And you identified those shoes as being Naziah's shoe. Is that correct?
Correct.
It's a shoe that looks like the shoe that Naziah is wearing, correct?
Correct. Correct.
You can't say for sure that that
Yes,
exact
sir.
shoe came from Naziah, is that fair to say?
Correct.
I think you testified that very rarely would you ever use text now to contact Mr. Butts.
Right.
Only if your phone was turned off.
Right.
And that was not very often.
Right.
Would Naziah ever have access to your phone to use it?
Yes, like she would ask, hey, TT, can I see your phone? Sure, I wouldn't mind. Yes.
And so would she text from that phone?
Probably, yes.
Did you ever notice any text from
No.
her on your phone?
No.
Did you ever notice if she had used your Text Now app?
No, the only time when I would notice something and say if me and Jarvis would we won't be on the same page seeing eye to eye, and I will call him and he say, why you will call me, or like why you continue to keep calling me, and I would say I haven't called you all day or in 2 days. Then I will go ask my kids like, hey, are y'all calling your dad, because I haven't called him.
And until you looked in Naziah's Instagram account, did you ever notice anything on your phone that caused you to be concerned?
No.
Between Naziah and Mr. Lutz?
No.
And Mr. Butts, we said would come to the house to see his kids.
Correct.
He would drop them off at the house sometimes. He would take them places.
Yes.
He would pick Janiyah up from there.
Like he depending on like if he will pick up the kids, if I need him to pick up the kids from the pickup or drop off spot for school, he will do that. Yeah.
And then take them either to Clinton Township when you lived there or to the Bedford Street address.
Correct.
Okay. But most times he wouldn't even come to the house, right?
He will come to the house. He will call me first before he will come.
Would he come into the house physically or would he sit in his truck outside?
50%. He will sit in the car and wait till the kids come outside, or he will knock on the door.
Would he be in the house for any length of time?
Only if I'm inside the house.
Like he was visiting with you?
Yes.
So you never knew a time that Mr. Butts would have been alone in the house with Naziah?
No.
You can't think of a time when he had been in the house and had gone down to the basement with her?
No.
Or any other room in the house alone?
No.
Would Mr. Butts have ever been at that house if another adult, like you or your mother, weren't there?
He will, what you said,
Would Mr. Butts ever?
Girl,
be at the
come on,
house
hold up.
if,
I gotta rewind.
Or with Messiah?
No.
So you, like he was visiting with you?
yes,
So you never knew a time that Mr. Butts would have been alone in the house with Messiah?
No.
Let me tell y'all why this is so bad. In one of the text messages, and I didn't read all of them, but one of the messages I saw, she was asking him, where do you want to do with it? And he said the basement. So it makes, now hearing her say he was never there when they weren't there, it's even worse. Y'all was just letting this man do this stuff while you were in the house.
Can't think of a time when he had been in the house and had gone down to the basement with her,
no,
or any other room in the house alone?
no,
Would Mr. Butts have ever been at that house if another adult, like you or your mother, weren't there?
he will, what you said,
Would Mr. Butts ever be at the house if you or your mother weren't there?
no, it will be me or another person.
The idea that anything was going on between Mr. Butts and Messiah is shocking to you, right?
Correct.
You had no idea.
No,
You never noticed anything between Messiah and Mr. Butts that made you concerned?
no,
You never saw any inappropriate behavior?
not at all.
You didn't notice Mr. Butts paying any special attention to her?
No.
Certainly, if you had noticed that, that would cause you concern.
Yeah, it would have raised the
Let me tell y'all something. And women that are on this live, correct me if I'm wrong. If we are, just think back when you were young. You didn't smile a lot at the boy you liked. You didn't smile a lot. You didn't giggle too hard at his jokes because he was extra funny to you, right? If you want me to believe that this woman did not put two and two together, that this girl and this man had something going on, keep in mind he's a sex offender, okay? So you're gonna have an extra eye. I don't care how much she say he paid his debt to society, whatever. You're gonna look that. Y'all don't think this immature ass little girl was smiling every. Oh God, yeah, I'm sorry. I don't want to talk mean. I'm not talking mean about the baby, but she's immature. This immature little girl. You want me to believe that this girl was not looking at this man, paying close attention to this man, probably around him more than you liked. You know this because little girls, think when you were 13, think back to when you were 13. If say when I was 13, I think I had graduated from 8th grade. So when I was 13, I'm at the skating ring, baby. If it's the boy I like, I'm giggling, I'm smiling. Ma'am, you didn't see her look at that man no type of way. Baby, I'm 37 and I give a little giggle when I like a man, okay? Or a man, I might, when I'm flirting a little bit, I might laugh. I might look at a man like, this baby was doing something that gave it away, that someone right. Look at him fake crying. Oh,
a whole bunch of red flags.
Likely you wouldn't have invited him into the house, correct?
Correct.
wait a minute, y'all. Let me see what you feel right there.
Correct.
Would have raised a whole bunch of red flags.
Likely you wouldn't have invited him in.
Shannon, wherever you are, I hope you die slow. Because the fact that you're talking about that would have raised a bunch of red flags, but the fact he was a freaking pedophile didn't raise a red flag to you. That didn't raise a red flag. That didn't raise a red flag. But if your niece and him, if you would have seen something, that would have been the red flag. Oh, God.
Into the house, correct?
Correct.
Yes, Karina.
You found it hard to believe even that Mr. Butts would hurt Messiah.
But I won't know. I don't know what he will do if a person's back is up against the wall.
Oh, heck. Did y'all hear what she just said? This lady just said out her own mouth. The question was, do you think Jarvis would hurt Naziah? She said, I don't know what a person would do if their back was against the wall. I don't know what a person would do. Y'all, she knew that girl was pregnant. She know what he did. Let me rewind it, because some of y'all probably was on y'all phone scrolling on Instagram and listening to me, and y'all didn't hear that.
You found it hard to believe even that Mr. Butts would hurt Messiah.
But I won't know. I don't know what he will do if a person's back is up against the wall.
But the thought of that was hard for you, at least at one point, to believe, correct?
Correct.
Baby, that public defender said, now, Shannon, that was not part of what we discussed. That's not what we discussed. And everybody in this chat, if y'all been on this stream with me, we've been on here. Damn, we've been on the stream 7 hours, y'all. So those of you who have been on the stream most of this time, what did we say? We said that he never intended to kill this little girl. He never intended to kill this little girl. What happened? The abortion was botched. Something went wrong. Something went wrong, and I think the baby died. I really don't even think he killed her. I think the botched abortion is what killed her, and he tried to dispose of the body, because guess what? He was going down either way. You got to explain why you're trying to do an abortion on a 13-year-old girl. Why are you out here? He couldn't explain the shit away. He wouldn't have been able to explain it away, right? But this lady is literally on this stand saying, I don't know what a person would do if they're back against the wall. You're crazy if you didn't think he didn't call this dumbass woman and tell her something went wrong. Something went wrong. Told her what happened. She don't want to lose her beloved. She don't want to lose her beloved Jarvis. She doesn't want to lose her beloved Jarvis. So what Shannon got to do? Shannon got to go in that house, because I'm with y'all. The clothes look too fresh. Shannon got to find a way to go put them clothes out there. Can we check her phones? Can we check Shannon's phone?
Now, during the time that you and Mr. Butts were together, he had children with other women,
Correct.
pretty consistently with other women,
Correct.
more than one woman.
Correct.
Some of those women you actually knew about, correct?
Correct.
They lived kind of even in the same neighborhood.
Oh,
Correct.
oh, now she can't talk. You had so much to say about Naziah, right? Her not coming home. She was talking real loud. Now we done pointed out the fact that that man was sleeping with women, even in your neighborhood, getting them pregnant. Now you on mute. Now you can barely talk. Now, baby, I can't hear you anymore. All she can give us is correct.
Did you suspect that there were women that you didn't know about?
Correct.
Hell yes.
And one that lived, or more than one that lived over on the west side?
Correct.
You believe he was going out there to see somebody around the end of 2023, January 2024?
Correct.
Before January 20th, you had a conversation with Naziah about a location on Outer Drive in Belfour,
Yes.
and that was surprising to you, right?
Correct.
That's on the east side of Detroit.
Yes.
Did you end up giving her directions on how to get to that location?
Yes.
Why did you give her directions?
I was just getting out the shower and just getting myself together. She asked me, she said, hey, Titi. She said, where is Balfour and Honor Drive? And I told her, I said, you know exactly where Balfour and Honor Drive at. I said, Honor Drive is right where the wine basket at. And I said, you know where Balfour at. And she was like, I get Balfour and Bedford mixed up. So I said, you already know Balfour is before Bedford. So she said, okay. She said, because we are in school and we are learning about our surroundings. So I said, okay. But that was the only two things that she had asked, was where was Omar Drive in Balfour at.
Does that location have any special significance to you?
No,
Do you know anybody at that location?
no, the only thing that I'm familiarized with just picking up Jarvis at a drive in Balfour. It's just on a corner.
On a corner?
Mm-hmm.
Not at an address?
Not on the dress.
Y'all mean to tell me this grown ass man? Y'all remember the fiance said he will walk to the house, like park the car somewhere else. Now this heifer talking about she picks him up at corners, and it didn't even. You picked him up at this location several times, and you didn't say what the hell my niece doing at that same location. We did not. We saw. They said unexplainable holes in the jacket. Hold on, because I'm gonna get the chat to help us out, Day. You mean to tell me it didn't click in your mind to wonder why the hell your niece going to the same area your man be at? Y'all told me this case was gonna piss me off. It's the women. Like, how do you not protect the babies? How do you not protect the babies? Like, you didn't think to question why the hell your niece going to the location you pick your man up at. Like, Day, do you hear what I'm saying? Now, let's help the other Day, DAI. Day says that she was stabbed 16 times. Correct me if I'm wrong. When the man was talking about the jacket, they couldn't explain why those holes were in her jacket. Did I hear that wrong? Because I thought they said inexplainable holes in her jacket. They don't know why the holes were in the jacket. Yes, Miss Hall. I'm happy. Miss Jefferson really. I didn't know that the prelim was coming on till she told me. No stabs. That's what I thought. I thought they said they couldn't explain why the holes were in the jacket. Hold on. Big Tit, you might be right, friend. They did know. Okay, so that's what I thought. She wasn't stabbed 16 times. Well, there's not a body to confirm that, but she has these holes. They don't know why the holes are in her jacket. I don't know. I don't think this is trafficking. Miss J had been talking about it. Like I said, I saw this going viral, but I didn't know the case had come up. And then Miss J had started watching it, and I said, but she been telling me about it because we talk often. And I'm like, girl, I'm gonna have to watch this myself. Yeah, it wasn't stabs. They don't know why those holes were in her jackets. They know it's not from animals. I remember that, T-Baby. Miss Hall, we're gonna go back and watch that. We're gonna watch the podcast. It'll probably, go watch it on your own, guys. But if you'd like to watch it with the community over here, it'll be after we get through testimony. We'll go watch the podcast, and hopefully it'll connect some dots for us.
When was this conversation that you had about that location? Do you recall?
This was right before Naziah went missing.
Like, how soon before? Weeks?
Maybe it was still in that same week she went missing.
Mr. Butts didn't have his own vehicle, fair to say?
No, he didn't.
He generally used
His female's vehicles.
Did you know Mr. Butts to park at one location and maybe walk to another to kind of try to remain undetected?
Pretty much, yes.
Would it be
So all y'all know.
not out of the ordinary for you to have to pick him up at a random or what seemed to be a random location to you?
Do y'all hear this? Do Miss P, Alice was just saying this, so I don't know. We're gonna take a vote and see what the community as a whole wants to do. If the community wants to skip the text messages, because I've seen a little bit of it, I'm okay with skipping the text messages, but we'll see. But this is his MO, y'all. She said it was never out of the ordinary for her to pick him up on random corners. Do you hear me? Do you know what type of woman you got to be okay with picking up a man at a random location because you know he's trying not to disclose where he came from?
Correct.
You lived with Naziah for, you said from about October until January the 9th.
Correct.
So you spent a lot of time around her.
Yes.
You knew her mannerisms,
Yes.
her demeanor,
Yes.
her moods.
Yes.
Did anything strike you as out of the ordinary about how she was acting at any point in time?
Now, this was pissing me off. They knew so much about this girl. They were so in tune with her, but nobody picked up on the fact that this man was y'all so in tune with this baby. Why would they get on? Y'all so in tune with this baby, but nobody knew she hadn't asked for pads in months. Nobody knew that she hadn't asked for pads. Nobody, y'all so in tune with her lover so much, nobody knew that the girl didn't come home at 3:00 because the other kids had to tell Shannon. The other kids had to tell Shannon. Now all of a sudden, y'all.
In December or January before she disappeared?
No, Naziah, nothing have changed her character, none of that. She was just the same old Naziah. Nothing was different.
Naziah has a brother, right?
Yes.
Is it an older brother?
Yes.
Now, he had run away in 2023, is that right?
Yes.
Why is he running away?
If it's something that had bothered her or something that she was dealing with at the time, could cause a change in her demeanor.
Overruled.
So she did have a brother that ran away,
Correct.
and was that something that she struggled with?
She didn't like the fact that her brother was running away. Yes, she didn't like it.
Around the same time, around the time December, January, was her mother supposed to come visit, her biological mother?
Yes.
Did she end up coming to see Naziah?
Yes.
She did. Did Naziah seem to have some big emotions about that contact?
Yes.
It was complicated, fair to say.
Yes.
Did she talk to you about that?
All the time.
I knew it. I knew it. Y'all, this baby talked to them about everything except that. And I do not want to sit on this live and act as if kids cannot suffer in silence, because we are well aware that kids can be threatened, right? Kids can be told, I'm going to do this to your mama, your brothers, or, I get that. I get that. This girl was literally in the house. You're in a house packed like sardines. You are in a house packed. It's 6 kids, and Shannon got 5 kids. Then it's Naziah and her siblings, okay? So at any given time, what is it, y'all? Is they're anywhere from, let's say, they're anywhere from 8 to 10. I don't know how many siblings she has. They're anywhere from between 8 and 10 children in this house at one time. You barely have room to breathe. And you mean to tell me nobody picked up in this house? No adult picked up in this house that girl was being touched by this sick-ass man? Come on. This is just stop.
Did you notice anything? You said you didn't notice anything in a changing mood. So
No.
what about physically?
No.
don't have anything else, thank you.
Redirect.
Did you go to the Park Crest Inn on January 9th, 2024? Mr.
No.
Fox?
No.
And fair to say, you knew of Mr. Butts having other female friends,
Yes.
and even some that you didn't know about.
Correct.
Okay. So would it be fair to say that you don't always know, or you didn't always know what Mr. Butts was doing?
No.
You couldn't account for his whereabouts every minute of the day?
No.
Did you know him to, one of those cars that he would use, did you know him to have a white Escalade type truck?
Correct. Yes.
And you were asking questions about Outer Drive and Balfour. Fair to say, from what I gathered, the only connection you have to that area is Jarvis Butts.
Correct.
Okay, so he's the only one you would associate with that area.
Correct.
And you knew Mr. Butts to have other children,
Correct.
okay, and you knew him to have clearly have gotten other women pregnant.
Correct.
And to your knowledge, were all those women adults?
To my knowledge, yes.
Did he, to you, ever hide getting another woman pregnant?
No.
Nothing further, Judge.
Okay, you are done testifying. Please watch your step. Thank you.
Just like, get your ass out of my courtroom. Get your ass out of my
Who's
courtroom.
gonna be doing the next witness? Okay.
Y'all, we done made it to the end of Naziah Harris's case. This is the preliminary hearing for Jarvis Butts, who is accused of murdering her. They have not found her body. We just heard the testimony of today. We've heard her mom, her aunt, which is his children's mother. We've heard his fiance. We've heard another baby mama. We've heard the lady who found her school badge. We heard the school officer who retired and he investigated the case one day. We've heard from Border Patrol today. We've heard from the cell phone analysis. So we have watched quite a bit of this preliminary hearing so far. And listen, a lot of y'all have been here since we started, and everyone there seems to be a consensus that this family knew what was going on with this girl. Her aunt that just got off that stand, she most certainly knew because she is the most vested. Jarvis was her man. She was the most vested, but they failed this baby. I'm actually happy, y'all. Oh, it's 329 people in here. That's my birthday. God must be trying to do something good in my life. He did something yesterday, so I'm just gonna take that as a sign of him saying, "Girl, I'm here." But we've heard a lot of testimony. I know it's very overwhelming today. Thank you guys for going on this journey with me today. Man, I probably wouldn't. It's not a problem. I would not have watched all of this without y'all. So thank y'all for going on this journey with me today. For anyone that is in the chat that has been a victim, baby, know that you are loved, and I pray that if you're still dealing with it, that God grants you peace. God gives you healing, because this is not easy for anyone to deal with. It causes adults, children to deal with things later on in their lives. It affects relationships, your mental, everything. So I always encourage anyone, if you have been a victim and if this has triggered you in any way, please go see a therapist. Talk to someone. Please know it was not your fault because you were a child. If you were an adult and this happened to you, it should not have. It should not have happened. I'm going to tell you I'm sorry that it happened. I'm going to tell you that God is always there. Please go get some help. Do not hold it in because it will affect everything around you. It will affect everything around you. So I'm ending this stream, guys. Y'all know we moving over. If you are going over with us, I'm about to end this stream. The next stream that will pop